Hey, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Live Work North Attleboro. I'm Christine Pasto, your host, and today I'm here with Dee Davidson. She has a business based in North Attleboro. Welcome.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Yeah, no problem. So tell us, what's the name of your business and what is your business all about?
Yes, so the name of my business is Confidently Love Yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm a functional health practitioner. So what that entails, it's entails looking at root cause when people typically go to the doctor and the doctor says their labs look fine or they feel like they're continuously chasing symptoms. They come to me and say, "Help, I don't know what's going on with my body. I don't understand why I'm feeling this way." And rather than chasing symptoms or getting a diagnosis, we look at bringing the body back to a state of ease and balance.
Oh, that's terrific. And how do you use any kind of testing in the business, like blood work
Yeah,
or that sort of thing?
that is a great question. So let me give you a little backstory here. When I first started my practice years back, I worked with many, many women on the foundational things. I think a lot of women have no idea what makes a difference when it comes to rebalancing the body, specifically hormones. Hormones are my favorite thing to work with, and hormones are not the problem. They're typically a check engine light or signs of other dysfunction. So with most of my clients, if they've never worked with someone to look at their lifestyle, primarily diet, and when I say diet, I'm not talking about going on a diet. I'm talking about, are
Right.
you eating the right things? Are you stabilizing your blood sugar levels? Are you eating enough? Are you eating the right foods for yourself? So there is a test for that. There's a metabolic typing test,
Mm-hmm.
that's a genetic test. And what it tells us is what foods convert to energy best for your body. We've become so, sucked into what social media tells us we should eat, especially
Right.
women over 40s, that we have to remember we're all individuals. So I start with foundationals, diet, rest. And when I talk about rest, I don't just mean sleep. Some people are getting good sleep, but they still don't feel well. So rest means, resting your fork in between bites. It means taking breaths and actually intentionally breathing throughout the day. It means taking a break to go outside in between Zooms. So we talk all things rest because the body is looking for rest. We talk
Mm-hmm.
about exercise. And the reason we talk about exercise is, again, not everyone enjoys the same type of
Right.
exercise, and that's
Right.
okay. And it's become so, again, mainstream that maybe it's CrossFit, maybe it's yoga, but everybody's different. So I really help people get in tune with what their body needs, and what your body needs today might be different than what it needs next week or tomorrow. And then we look at stress. So stress is one of the biggest things that I
Oh, yeah.
find my clients struggle with. They either tell me they don't have stress because they think of stress as like their job stressful or their relationship stressful, but all have stress every day, whether that be stress of those things or it could be internal hidden stressors. So that's where testing comes into play.
Mm-hmm.
Hidden stressors could be a parasite, an overgrowth of bacteria. It could be that you're not producing enough cortisol to support your body and your stress anymore. It could be low stomach acid. So those are hidden stressors. That's where testing comes into play.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last foundational thing I look at is supplements. So we look at supplements to just fill gaps where they needed, nutritional gaps. Maybe you're deficient in something, or maybe you need to get rid of a bad bacteria, and we can do that through some herbs and things like that. But I'm not a big believer in just randomly taking supplements or saying, "Oh, you know what, my cousin takes vitamin D. I heard everyone should do that," because
Right.
it's again based on what your personalized health and a lot of factors. So we look at supplements. So I start typically with people on the foundational things because we can really move the needle
Right.
with the foundational, the lifestyle things, the things that aren't so fun that people want to avoid. They just want like someone to give them a diagnosis and tell them to take a supplement. But really, I tell my clients the needle moves with the foundational things, with really being honest with yourself and going within and looking at what's going on in your life. And sometimes some big shifts have to happen, sometimes small shifts have to happen. And then once we've done that, Then, yes, I have access to over 70 labs, and you can get stuck in the hamster wheel of testing this, then testing that, then testing this, and that can get really costly and confusing. So I really don't advise people to get into that hamster wheel up front. I advise people to look at the foundational things and see how much we move the needle 3 or 6 months. And then from there, if there are still things that you're feeling are off intuitively, you're probably right, then we might check the GI, we might check your hormones and things like that to see where the hidden stressors are. But a lot of times the body innately knows and heals and does all those things.
Right.
It's just that we're so disconnected as humans from our bodies. And my goal really is to get people back into being conscious beings and listening to what their body needs. I had a woman earlier, a client who she did the metabolic typing and she found out that she is a carbo type, which means that she needs carbs for energy. That's what she converts to energy best.
Right.
And this metabolic type doesn't do well with red meat. So when I asked her, how do you feel when you eat red meat? She said, oh, I hate it. I don't like hamburgers. I don't. So intuitively, she knew this, but society might tell us you need more protein than carbs and things like that. So my job is to help you get in tune with your body because then God gives us the rest. If we were eating the food that God originally gave us that grows from the ground and got out in the sunlight and did some earthing and things like that, the body loves that and responds very well to it.
That's great. So, um, are you originally from North Attleboro?
I'm originally from Attleboro, so I do get
Okay.
harassed a little bit about that because I don't know, I'm almost 50 and it's like, all right, let's get over that. But that whole North Attleboro rivalry. But yeah, I just settled in North Attleboro. I've been here for, my kids are in the school system. I've been here for, probably 16 years now.
All right. Well, Attleboro, North Attleboro, pretty close.
Yeah, they're both great
Um,
places.
what made you decide to open this business?
So I decided to open this business because I was giving a lot of unsolicited free advice to people. I would overhear friends talk about things and I would share things that I've studied. And getting back to my own health journey, I went back to school and I learned a lot of this stuff and I hired people that do the same thing that I do several times in my life. One, I was 40 pounds heavier and I didn't understand the reason that I was stuck with this 40 pounds. I was exercising and I thought I was eating healthy, but I couldn't get rid of the 40 pounds. So I hired a holistic nutritionist. So I learned about that. Then I had unexplained infertility with my first son. So I learned about hormone health. And that's really where my love for hormone health stemmed from. Understanding the body and all of the environmental factors that go into our hormones. And people think hormones are just about periods. And once you have menopause, it's over. But that's not true. Your hormones regulate your brain and nervous system, your pituitary, your thyroid, your reproductive, everything is controlled. It's your control panel by hormones. So I became really fascinated with hormones during my infertility journey because I was forced to look at what was going on with my own body. And I went back and studied that to help heal myself.
Right.
And then, as recent, I decided to go back for the functional health practitioner licensing because I wanted to be able to run labs. Because in working with women over the years, I found that I could move the needle with a lot of women with these foundational things. And then there's that other bucket of women who could do the same exact things and not have those results because of the hidden stressors.
Right.
So then I went back to do that. But to answer your question, I started my practice because I already had a lot of people in my world that were asking me for the advice and asking me what dentist I went to, do what I eat this, what kind of exercise I do. So I've lived and breathed this for many, many years, like 20, 25 years. And so I opened my practice 3 years ago.
Okay. And is your background in nursing or in
No,
any
it's
help?
just holistic health. Yes.
Oh,
So
okay.
again, hormone health is my certification. And also there's a certification called FDNP. Most people don't know what that is, but it's
Yep.
functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner. So I've studied nutrition as well.
That's terrific. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great because I know nutrition is not something that doctors have to study. That's an optional course in medical school, right?
Yeah, it's so
And
important. Nutrition is a lot.
it's the foundation of
Hmm.
the body. So,
Yes, it
what is
is.
something most people don't know about your business?
I think a lot of people don't know that my business is not just physical, meaning exercise and food and sleep. My business is also spiritual. So it's important for people to understand that connection to a higher being, whatever you want that to be, whether it be God, the universe, spirit, whatever that is. We talk a lot about connection outside of ourselves because I do find that having some belief system does help in tough times. And also, we have to look within to see the spiritual beliefs that we have, limiting beliefs about ourselves, traumas, inner child work. So, a lot of people don't realize that I do dive deep, that when they enroll with me, it's a deep conversation that I have that we're not just going to talk about, we don't track macros or calories. We
Right.
talk about where is this coming from? Where is this belief coming from? Why aren't you choosing self love? Why do you not feel worthy of your health? Because until you entangle all of that, you never get out of this whole matrix. You need to get out of the matrix to maintain a life of joy and health. And I
Right.
do believe just like we can manifest money and manifest houses and cars, we can manifest our health, but we have to starts with our belief systems and figuring out like what are those blocks?
Right. Absolutely. That's great. Um, what would your customers say about your business?
Well, you can go on my Google reviews. I have a lot of them out there, but I think my customers would say that I'm compassionate and I meet people where they're at. So I try to think back to when I started my journey into all of this stuff. I think back to when I had to be my own first patient and do my own labs and seeing those numbers and really meet people where they're at, that it's holding your hand and being encouraging and not saying you got to give up all this and you need to eat organic and now you got to go do all this. You got to do, gratitude journals and all this stuff. That just doesn't work. So we shift things based on what people can handle and where they're at. And what they would say, I believe, is that the things we work on together stick. This isn't another diet. This isn't
Right.
another thing that they're, going to jump to something else from. This is a whole lifestyle mindset shift of awareness.
That's great. Yeah, I know a lot of people sign up for the gym in January and by March,
Oh yeah, and
it's
even
empty
with
again.
the Weight Watchers and all of those things that I went to a seminar that said a lot of people in general, not just women, but if something doesn't work in 30 days, they just jump to the next thing. And so when I
Right.
qualify my clients, I don't just work with anyone. I have a whole process. So make sure it's a good fit for them and for me. That's one of the things I clarify that this is a process. Most of my clients are working with me at least 6 months, some of them longer, depending on how many things we're working on. But this isn't a like, okay, fix me and
Right.
everything's great in 30 days or 2 months or anything like that.
Right. That's great. What's the longest client you ever had?
I have some clients that are with me just because they love the connection. They're not
Okay.
per se on a program where they meet with me on Zooms or texting with me, but I have a group program. So what I developed was a group program for people who want to stay part of a community of women
Yep.
who want to be healthy, continue learning because this journey is never done. One of my clients put Dee healed herself and I laughed because we're never truly healed. There's always things that come up, always things we're working on, always things happening to us in life. But I created a group where there's a private Facebook community people can ask questions in. They can share the challenges, their wins. I post in there every day. And then I have an app so they get new, fresh material every month on different things like mindfulness and, it can be reducing EMF exposure, things like that. I try to give them new content every month. So I've had some people in there since the beginning, since 3 years that they love the community and they love
Oh, that's
what they get out of
wonderful.
it, having the connection. Yeah.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
And so you've lived in your neighborhood about what, 16 years, you said?
In the neighborhood I live in now, well, I went through a divorce. So I went through an unexpected divorce, and I have lived in this neighborhood for I think it's going to be it was just 5 years this past
Okay.
September.
But
Yeah.
it's in it's been in North
Yeah.
Attleboro for the last 16 years.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've seen a lot of changes over the years in North Attleboro. There's so many great restaurants and shops downtown. Do you get downtown
Yes.
to
Yeah, that
access
community
those?
is awesome. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. Who is your ideal client?
My ideal client is anyone who has gone to the doctor and feels frustrated, where either the doctor wants to just give them a medication and they don't want that, or the doctor says their labs are fine, or a woman who says the doctor says this is just the way it is because I'm X, Y, and Z age.
Right.
Those are my ideal clients, people who are frustrated with their health and can't get answers and really want to, figure it out and not just take another medication.
Okay, great. And where can people reach you?
Yeah, so they can either reach me on Instagram's a great place. So on Instagram, I'm listed as confidently_love_yourself. That's a great place because I put out new content every day. Or my website is just confidentlyloveyourself.com. My podcast is launching next week, so that's exciting. So if there
Oh,
are
nice.
women who are interested in learning more about hormone health, because that goes from, uh, you know, your whole life really, but puberty all the way through post menopause. My podcast will be on Apple and Spotify, and that's Confidently Balance Your Hormones. So that will be launching next
Oh,
week.
wonderful. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, Dee, it was very nice speaking with you today, and I've learned a lot about your business, and I hope everybody else has as well. Um, Again, I'm Christine Pasto, and if you would like to be featured on an episode of Live Work North Attleboro, you can reach me by cell at 312-593-4969. And you can check out Dee's website and her podcast starting soon,
Yes.
Instagram and Facebook, and I will post those links on the page.
Thanks so much for having me.
You're welcome, Dee. Take care.
You too.